What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. This time we're going to be covering the latest news. We've got lots to get through, but before we do get on with that, make sure if you are new around here and you're enjoying the content that you do subscribe, press the red button and press the bell and put your push notifications on. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you slap a like on the video, and also if you're interested, you can go and check out my social media links in description below. We're going to crack on with this video, and we're going to talk about Manchester City's war with UEFA first. Now, last week, Man City released a strong statement saying that they were working with investigators and they've given them everything that they know of. City also added that they weren't happy that the article was published in the New York Times saying that Man City were going to be given a Champions League one-year ban. Man City felt like this was damaging the club's reputation and also damaging Manchester City's potential business deals in the future for what the club believed was misinformation. Further to this, just a couple of days later, UEFA's investigators then referred the case, and Manchester City then released another statement, very strong statement this, saying that Manchester City weren't happy with how the investigation had been portrayed. They'd named the person that was in charge of doing the investigation with Manchester City, and it said that Manchester City can't wait then to work with an independent investigation, as City were having a little sly dig at the journalist that was involved with Manchester City, and also the investigator, and also UEFA, as Manchester City may well be found guilty, and if they are, then we're taking it to the Court of Appeal, and this could get dragged on for months and months and months. Man City were accused of not providing sufficient information. Manchester City had apparently provided a 90-plus page documentation with all of their finances in, but they feel like it's not sufficient. It's all a bit strange. I'll keep you up to date with everything that's going on with that. I'm sure there'll be plenty more going on throughout the coming weeks. Now, back to football business. Pep Guardiola has been named the LMA Premier League Manager of the Year. Huge congratulations to Pep. It was fully deserved. Now, the FA, they've confirmed that Manchester City players and staff, they'll be facing no action over a chant that was happening on the plane after the Brighton game in the Premier League. It was a Man City's version of the Allez Allez Allez, or Allez Allez Allez, however you say it, chant that Liverpool have obviously made popular. Manchester City have used that chant. Apparently, City were accused of making the song about Sean Cox, the fan that was attacked outside of Anfield when Liverpool faced AS Roma last season in the Champions League, and also it was accused of being about Hillsborough, to which Pep then apologised if anyone was offended by it, but the song was actually about Kiev and what happened to Liverpool in the Champions League final. Anyway, all this tension was coming about because of Manchester City and Liverpool's new hate for each other for some strange reason, where that one's all come from. As far as I'm concerned, it's two very good teams that are competing with each other. It's all turned into a bit of banter. Obviously, Man City's won the Premier League this year, so people have gone to have a look at any dig at Manchester City, and it's not just the chants and the planes that's got digs in. There's been all kinds of articles about human rights in the UAE, oil money, Manchester City's financial fair play, and everything's getting dug up, which is how I know Manchester City have been doing perfectly fine this season. Now, in better news, the summer transfer window for the Premier League clubs is now officially open, so players now are allowed to negotiate with other players and other clubs to try and sign players. So obviously we're getting right into the thick of the transfer season. Obviously the season isn't done yet, so obviously you'll get bits of transfers here and there, but things start to kick in properly once we get into June and middle of June towards July. Obviously we've not got the World Cup this year or any European Championship, so I expect deals to be done quite early into the window. Now, L'Equipe in France, they've been saying that the Lyon manager is going to leave them this season, and apparently Mikel Arteta was high up on that list of managers to replace the current manager. One thing I will say, Arteta I doubt will leave Manchester City and leave the backroom staff of Pep Guardiola. He seems to be learning a lot, assistant to Pep, and you imagine that if Arteta decides to stay when Pep decides to leave one day, that Arteta would be ready-made for the job, and so I doubt that he'd leave unless he was going to be given a good job. Not that I don't think Lyon's not a good job, I just don't see Arteta at this moment in time leaving. Apparently, Silvinho, the former Manchester City man that we had, remember, a few years back, apparently he's been working over in Brazil. Apparently he's set to be the new Lyon manager, but how true that is, I don't know. I'm not even sure if the Lyon manager's left yet, but there we go. Our assistant manager getting linked with a new club after Torrent left Manchester City and went to New York City Football Club. We lost one assistant manager. I hope we don't lose another. Now, better news, Fabian Delph, Raheem Sterling, John Stones and Kyle Walker, they've all been named in England's squad for the upcoming Nation League finals this June. Obviously it's going on over a course of a few days, a semi-final and a final over in Portugal, so congratulations to them in being named in the squad there. They might be able to get some features, might even get to another final, might even win some more trophies. proven winners. Now, Gabriel Jesus, Ederson and Fernandinho, they have been named in the Brazil squad for the upcoming Copa America this summer, so well done to them. No Danilo though, not too sure why there, so unlucky to Danilo, can go and have a nice rest though. Danilo did post, I think it was on Twitter, saying see all the Man City fans in 2019-20, so maybe he's going to be staying at Manchester City too, so that's very interesting. Go and enjoy your summer, Danilo. Now, Sergio Aguero and Nicolas Otamendi, they've been called up to the Argentinian squad for the Copa America too, so well done to them as well, of all these international call-ups. A busy little period in June for everyone. Now, Puma, Manchester City's new kit sponsor as of next season, they've confirmed that Manchester City's new kit will be released in time for July. I wonder why it's been done in July and not now. It didn't make sense to me at the time. However, calculating things, I figured it out. City are touring in Far Eastern Asia. Manchester City will release that that top just in time for pre-season and their pre-season tour, so they can maximise sales over in the Far Eastern Asian market. Might Manchester City look for a big name signing to go along with it too? We never know. What a way it would be to announce a new top, wouldn't it, with a big signing. Now, Manchester City were in FA Cup action. Manchester City became the first side in first ever side to win 50 games. Absolutely incredible in one whole season. In all competitions, Manchester City beat Watford 6-0 in the FA Cup final, with Raheem Sterling not getting a hat-trick, of course, with the goal now being awarded to Gabriel Jesus, as Manchester City become the joint biggest ever winners and biggest margin of winning in FA Cup history. If John Stones had put it in, would have broken all the records there for an FA Cup final, but there we go. Manchester City, on the back of that, also completed the domestic treble for the first time in men's football, and Manchester City completed the clean sweep of all domestic trophies, as Manchester City have decided to call it the Formidable Centurions last season, the Formidables this season. An absolutely great season. Well done to everyone. Go and enjoy your rest, and hopefully we can add another trophy to our cabinet for next season, the big UEFA Champions League, should we not be banned, of course. Now, Vincent Kompany, sad news this, he's announced that he is leaving Manchester City this summer. He's got one more match in the testimonial, which is coming in September. I'll give more details on that in just a moment. Anyway, he signed a new 3-year deal to become the new player manager, if you weren't aware, at Anderlecht, which is where he originally started his footballing career, at Anderlecht over in Belgium, where Vincent Kompany's from. So best of luck to Vincent going back home. Thank you for your services, and I'm hoping that one day, Pep said that Vincent Kompany will come home one day. I'm hoping one day we will have Vincent Kompany back at Manchester City. He deserves to be back at Manchester City. 11-year service, absolutely wonderful. I'm hoping we might see Yaya, Pablo Zabaleta, David Silva and Sergio Aguero. These are players that have cemented their place in Manchester City history, and these are players that have certified themselves as club legends at Manchester City, and they all deserve to return to Manchester City should they ever want to. So, on behalf of everyone at JSGC, and I'm sure on behalf of all Manchester City fans, we would all like to thank Vincent Kompany for all of his services at Manchester City, and we are going to miss him 1,000,000%. Captain fantastic. I was absolutely devastated when this was announced on Sunday. I was. But on the back of that, Manchester City had a parade, and Vincent Kompany was awarded at the parade the Etihad Goal of the Season for Manchester City, so well done to Manchester City's skipper there. Bernardo Silva, he's won the Etihad Player of the Season, and well deserved in my opinion for Bernardo Silva. Must have been a close running between him and Raheem Sterling. Absolutely amazing season from Bernardo though. He's worked his socks off, always pulled in 8s, 9s and 10 out of 10 performances this season, so I'm hoping that we'll see more of the same next season from Bernardo Silva, one of the most amazing players in the Premier League at this moment in time, in my opinion, and not enough people do talk about just how good Bernardo Silva is. Now, yesterday, Manchester City's women's player Nikita Parris, she announced that she was moving to the European champions Lyon, so best of luck to her. She's I think the PFA Women's Player of the Season and also Manchester City's Women's Player of the Season. Had a great season this season. She's got herself a move to France to join the I think it's the 3-time back-to-back champions of Europe. So good luck to her on her move. Now, very interesting this one. Girona have been struggling this season in La Liga. They've now been relegated from La Liga, so they're going to be in the second division in Spain, which I'm thinking is going to impact Manchester City sending players out on loan to Girona. And most interesting, I found this quite this bit of news quite interesting, because Girona are now being linked with Leeds manager Bielsa, who's obviously has failed to get them into the Premier League, but Leeds have had a solid season nonetheless. I'm just wondering, if Bielsa doesn't go, might Girona approach Manchester City to look to take one of Pep's backroom staff? It won't be Arteta, but might someone else leave? I do not know. Now, the Premier League have announced their goal of the season. It wasn't Vincent Kompany's against Leicester, unfortunately, but it does involve Manchester City, so I have to include it in this video. It was, of course, Andros Townsend wonder strike volley against us in their 3-2 win at the Etihad Stadium. Very good goal from Andros Townsend, and well deserved in my opinion. Now, I promised, so I'll deliver. Vincent Kompany's announced details on his testimonial. It's going to be on Wednesday, September 11th, 2019, with a 7:45 p.m. kickoff GMT time. It's going to be at the Etihad Stadium, and it's going to be a match between the City legends going up against the Premier League All-Stars, and all proceeds to that is going to go to Vincent Kompany's joint charity, along with Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Manchester's charity, which is Tackle for Manchester, looking at tackling homelessness in Manchester. So a good cause there for the testimonial. We'll wait for more details to be announced on who's going to be featuring in that game. Obviously, September 11th is during the international break, and so Manchester City Stadium will be available, and I'm hoping it'll be a packed house to give a final farewell to Vincent Kompany in a Manchester City shirt, and he deserves everyone to be there and back him, because he has been just phenomenal for Manchester City. And now, lastly, I will address this, put it in the title and everything, so you might be wondering. Lastly, Pep has been spotted in Turin yesterday. He's there apparently, according to the MEN and also Tutto Sport over in Italy. He's there for a charity event, not to have discussions with Juventus. Juventus are after a manager. Their Lazio manager at the moment has been strongly linked. I've seen Sarri being linked with them. I've seen him being linked with Inter Milan too. Jose Mourinho apparently has been linked, and apparently Ronaldo wants to work with Jose Mourinho at Juventus. But apparently Pep Guardiola is taking all of the headlines, because it emerged from some source that I've never heard of in my life. I sense a strong scent of fake news, which other people have then started retweeting, and other verified profiles have started retweeting on Twitter, making it like it was genuine that Pep was going to sign a 4-year deal to become the new Juventus manager, and it just didn't make sense to me. Pep's in Turin, and they've put 2 and 2 together here and made 5. I found it odd why Pep would leave Manchester City in the position that he's in. He hasn't fulfilled everything that he wants to do in Manchester City, let's not forget. Man City aren't the complete package. We're not at the pinnacle of football. I imagine Pep will want a Champions League trophy to add to his cabinet. Is he going to mark himself as a success? Certainly domestically. Will European-wise, Pellegrini's outperformed him. He got to the semi-final. I should imagine Pep will want to rectify that and do well in the Champions League. But according to some sources in Italy, they're saying that he's going to go to Juventus. It didn't make sense. He has everything that he wants at Manchester City. Literally, Pep can just say, I want this, and Man City's board would give it him. So I find it odd, and I don't see that move happening. Maybe if we was talking in a season or two's time, and if City were going for the whole quadruple and going for the Champions League, it would be a great way for Pep to leave. I just don't see it. Bloody Twitter and all of its fake news. But if it turns out to be true, which I sincerely hope not, I'll hopefully don't have to bring you that news, but if I do, then obviously I'll bring it to you first, and I'll be absolutely devastated, and I hope I don't have to make that video. Jesus. Anyway, there we go. That's been the latest news. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a transfer update. The whole of next week and going on throughout all the summer, we're going to have daily transfer updates from Manchester City. We're expecting 3 or 4 new players at Man City this season. So I'm going to keep you up to date with all the players that City are looking to sign and give you all of the details. So make sure if you're interested in all of them interesting videos, you stay tuned, subscribe, press the bell and put your push notifications on to be kept in the loop as quickly as possible by me. If you're interested, you can go check out my social media links. I'll keep you up to date with everything that's happening with Man City on Twitter. That's at JSGC171. You want to go and follow me on that. Instagram links also in description below, which is at JSidlow. If you want to go and follow me on there, then you can do. And don't forget also, if you want to hit me with any sponsorships for any videos like the upcoming transfer daily videos, then you can do. My email's in description below, which is JSGC171@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this video, slap a like on this video so I know that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all again for the next video tomorrow, the transfer update. So I'll see you then. So it's been JSGC. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace. Ciao for now.